Good morning, dear students. Today we are discussing about the another ionization techniques of mass spectrometry. In last portion of lecture, we already discussed about a gas phase ionization and disruption ionization techniques. So in gas phase ionization, we already discussed about electron impact ionization, chemical ionization and field ionization. As well as in disruption ionization technique, we already discussed about field disruption, electron spray ionization, matrix assisted laser disruption ionization. And today we are discussing about the other ionization techniques, which includes plasma disruption technique as well as atmospheric pressure chemical ionization. These both the methods like plasma disruption and atmospheric pressure chemical ionization both are comes under the disruption techniques. So let's start with the atmospheric pressure chemical ionization, which is also called as a APCI. So as per the instrumental, we can suggest or discuss that the sample solution is sprayed across a high potential difference. It's nothing but the few kilovolts of the voltages from a needle into the orifice in the interface. In this technique, a corona discharge is generally used to ionize a solvent droplets. After that, this ion ionize solute droplets by chemical ionization in the atmospheric pressure region. That means these techniques generally convert a solvent droplets to ionize to form a solute droplets, and finally it's converted into the cations. And these methods are only using by corona discharge process. That means the corona discharge process always required a very high electron charge. In gas phase ionization and in APCI is more effective than the electron spray ionization. Gas phase ionization is also called as a GPI, and this electron spray ionization ESI is nothing but that much not effective rather than APCI as well as GPI. But why? Because it's analyzing a less polar species, whether the ESI is not at all capable to analyze a less polar species. In electron spray ionization and APCI, which are having a complementary methods to each other. This is the basic figure of is APCI. So liquid which is generally passed, along with that in the nebulizing of gas, which we are again released with a very high atmospheric pressure. So when the atmospheric pressure of higher atmospheric pressure of gas comes contact with the liquid, and then it would be reached to the heater, and finally at the stage of heat the solution, that corona discharge electrons are attached and or connected, which release the electrons, and these electrons when comes in a contact with your sample solution, which is having nothing but the very high vapor pressure or atmospheric pressure of the gases, then these molecules of the solvent ion will be converted into the solute ion, and when these solute ions are contact with the electrons, this electron is bombarded with the solute ion, and finally it will be converted into the cations. These cations and other anions, molecular cations and the cation molecules are reached towards the skimmer, which again having nothing but the pass the dry gas. These dry gas is absorb the unwanted molecules like anions, radical cations and radicals, and only cation would be passed in presence of high vacuum towards a analyzer. The advantage of APCI is it's a good for less polar compounds. That means if a compound is highly polar, these methods are not provided to give you a effective spectrum of the fragmentation pattern. This method is very effective and oftenly used with it's majorly used with the liquid chromatography mass spectroscopy interface. This method is also using for the gas chromatography mass spectroscopy interface also, and nowadays HPTLC also is connected with the mass spectrometry, and this HPTLC is also associated with this kind of mass spectrometer which having a APCI ionization techniques. this method is only having one disadvantage, and that is nothing but that it's complementary of ESI, electron spray ionization. That means the method and process would be as similar and as simple like ESI, and but that's why only up to 2000 Dalton of molecular weight compound are capable and effectively produce the fragmentation pattern by using these ionization techniques like ESI and APCI. So if your compound having a higher molecular weight, or like a polymers or oligomers or peptides and proteins, then definitely MALDI would be the far better option. That time ESI and APCI kind of ionization techniques are not effectively used. Last but not least, electron spray ionization. This is the most important technique for analyzing biomolecules such as peptides, polypeptides, proteins and oligonucleotides having a molecular weight more than 1 lakh Dalton or more. So you can have often choose either MALDI or ESI as per your needs and requirements. If the compound would be having a polymers which is having a same portions of the molecules are repeatedly attached together, then it would be MALDI would be the far better option for this kind of molecule. And the compound which is having a peptides or proteins which is having a sequencing of amino acid. So if repetitive amino acids are attached together, then electron spray ionization technique would be the far better compared to the MALDI. So MALDI is using for the best effectively using for the polymers and polypeptide kind of molecules, polyethylene or any plastic materials, as well as petrochemicals and other allied chemicals, complex molecules and chelates molecules are easily identified by MALDI when used as an ionization technique. But for the biological samples, proteins, peptides, proteomics and genomics, the electron spray ionization techniques are always and always effectively used. So in this method, a solution of the sample is pumped through a stainless steel capillary needle at a rate of the very few microliters per minute. The needle is maintained at the several kilovolts with respect to the cylindrical electrodes that surround the needle. So when the liquid is passed on a surface of the needle, the cylindrical electrodes would be generated, and at the tip of the needle, when the liquid would be released, that release of the liquid at the same time electron would be attracted towards the sample molecule, and that time the ionization would be take place, and this ionization is nothing but the converting of molecule to cations. The resulting charge sprayed of the fine droplets then passes to a dissolving capillary, where the evaporation of the solvent and attachment of charge to the light molecules take place. As the droplets become smaller as a consequence of the evaporation of the solvent, their charge density becomes greater and greater, and desorptions of ions into the ambient gas occurs. ESI can produce a multiply charge ion with the number of charges tending to increase as the molecular weight increases. That means if a compound having a very high molecular weight, it would be a formation of high electric charges. The number of charge on a given ionization species must be determined by method such as comprising of two charge states that differ by one charge and dissolving simultaneous equation, or looking for the species that have a same charge but different adduct of masses. Or we can also say we have to examine the mass to charge ratio of the resolved isotope clusters in which the neighboring molecules and the attachment or the substitution take place of the molecules are always play the major role. This is a schematic diagram of electron spray ionization when a solvent of the liquid is passed under the high pressure of nitrogen gas. That time when the solvent would be passed, the high voltage power supply would be there. So at the tip of the solvent capillary, when it will be contact on electrons on the outer surface which is created on the outer surface of the capillary. These electrons are attracted towards the solvent which is having a sample and formation of electron-less species by formation of spray droplets. These spray droplets are nothing but the contacted towards a freely moving sample stage, and finally this sample stage is transfer the molecule on a dissolved converting by the dissolved ion to the inlet of mass spectrometer. So this whole process generally says that a simple solvent molecule converted into solute molecule, and solute molecules are bombarded with the electron to converted into the cations, anions, radicals and radical cations, which is moved towards a dissolved ion, which is converted into dissolved ion, which are capable to predict a mass spectrum. That means cations are nothing but a form from the dissolved ion, and rest of all would be a pass through a wastage one. So the high vacuum pressure is attached nearby the dissolved ion capillary. So these high vacuum is generally absorb the unwanted molecules like anions, radicals and radical cations, and only a mass spectrum capable molecules, that is cation, is only passed into the mass spectrometer. So advantages of electron spinization: this is the good for the charged molecules, polars or a basic compounds, which is having a mass less than 2000 to 3000 MZ. So the pharmaceutical industries, which when we are using as a drug, which general molecular weight are not more than 5 to 600. So these techniques which having a ESI are far better options for identification of drug molecules as well as excipients too. It permits the detection of high mass compounds at mass to charge ratio that are easily determined by most of the mass spectrometer, which is having a typically less than masses of 2000 to 3000. The base method for analyzing of multiplied charge compounds. So any kind of molecule which is having a positive or negative charge together, like amphoterics. So these kind of molecules are easy and very effectively fragmented and separated by mass spectrometer, which is having a electron spinization. This is very low chemical background leads to excellent detection of limits. Hence, that are nowadays most preferable and most acceptable ionization techniques attached towards the mass spectrometer. Definitely, ESI having their own disadvantages, like it will be multiplied charge species require interpretation and the mathematical transformation. So when ESI would be convert the fragmentation molecules, these fragmented molecules are nothing but sometimes would be also having a generator of isotopically abundant molecules, and these isotopically abundant molecules are nothing, these molecules having non-integer values, and again these molecules are again come across your mass spectra, and sometimes you have to confuse about the exact molecular mass of the species as well as sometimes similar mass of a lower molecular mass species. So actual lower molecular mass species sometime having a equal molecular weight of the isotopic abundant mass species, and that time scientists would be confused to identify it. But always think or always identify one important thing in your mind, that the isotopic abundance are always having a non-integer values, whether the actual typical fragmented molecules are having always integer values like 23, 56, 85 like this. So if in your mass spectra the peaks of fragmented molecules are having non-integer value, definitely this is nothing but the come across from isotopic abundant molecules. Complementary to this method is a complementary method to APCI. No good for the unchanged, no basic, low polarity compounds. So compound should be required very high polar and which is having a very low vapor pressure definitely. This is very sensitive to contaminants such as alkali metals and basic compounds. So one should always take care when the compound would be not at all having a metal or alkalis or any kind of basic, then it would be having a spectra would be having a lot of contaminated, or sometimes would be having a mismatch of the peaks observed. Last but not least, it's a nano spray ionization technique. So in nano spray ionization technique, this is nothing but a very low rate version of electron spray ionization, and the flow rate of the solute and the solvent using this procedure is very low, like a 32,000 nanoliter per minute. In MALDI and other ionization technique, we discussed that flow rate should be having a 10 is to minus 2 nanoliter. So here the flow rate would be very high compared to MALDI and other ionization technique. The advantages of nanospray ionization is the less sample consumption. Definitely, majority in all ionization technique, the sample consumption would be very less. Small volume sample least for the several minutes. Definitely yes. And this technique is used for the protein digest mixture analysis. So proteins and peptides again would be effectively separated and identified by mass spectrometer, which is having a nanospray ionization techniques too. Why? Because it's again capable to separate the equal unimolar species of the amino acids which is available in the proteins. The electron spray ionization and the nanospray ionization techniques are very sensitive methods for in terms of analytical as well as it's again other allied applications too. These are the referencing for both the lectures. You can use one of that, or you can discuss with me if you have any queries about any particular topic or subtopic of the ionization technique. We can definitely discuss, and I can again give some light about informations about it. There are a lot of informations available in other online resources, but the only issue is the information from the resources are not always accurate and correct, so make sure to use it. Fine. So that's it. This is nothing but the ionization techniques used in a mass spectrometer, and these two lectures are provide all kind of ionization technique informations to you guys. Thank you.